Um, Mistakes were made. Welcome back. It has been a very long time since I made a YouTube video, probably like 3-4 years. But I was sitting here tinkering with the new project car and just got a wild hair to do things, right? So I think what I'm going to do today is introduce you to the car, kind of let you know where I'm at and the plans and what we're going to do in this video and the following video. But yeah, I'm Johnny. I'm Johnny, Hayes Auto Works. I make videos on my junk, so let's look at it. So this is my 1971 Chevy Nova, as you probably know. If you've watched any of my videos, I like Novas. This is not the Nova that was in the last video that I made, which was a twin turbo LS 1970 Nova. This one's 71. I bought this car about a year ago as a running driving car. Before that, I had a 64 Nova that was supercharged. I don't believe I made any videos on that one, but I wanted to get back in a third gen Nova, so long story short, here we are. It was a solid car when I started, but it wasn't up to my standard, I guess you could say. So last fall, I pulled it in the garage here and put it up in the air and started tearing it apart. First thing I did is I yanked this motor out. I freshened it up, cleaned it up, Holley intake, tick intercooler brick, this TSP, what do they call that? Anyway, this TSP carbon fiber lid, Motion Raceworks, Icon throttle body, set of roller rockers, decent cam. I think it's a sloppy stage 2. I cannot remember what I put in it. I did it a few months back. Yes, sloppy stage 2 cam and turbo. The turbo kit, actually it's not a kit. The turbo hot side I had made by the turbo kit I had made by a feller online. He's on Facebook on all the LS groups. JP Fab, yeah, John, I can't pronounce his last name, but John Podatek. Anyway, did amazing work, and I went with this kit, which is the log manifold style. I went with this kit because I wanted to clear the factory power steering. Now, what I'm going to get into here in a minute is going to make that irrelevant, but we're still going to go with this kit because it's super nice, stainless, etc., etc. All that fun stuff. And then, let's go around the side here. This was a complete interior. Now it is not. I ripped it all out. Floor pans are in good shape, luckily. I know a lot of these cars, they're not in good shape. The big elephant in the room is the tunnel. It had a turbo 350 in the car, 373 gears. It was okay, but it wasn't what I wanted. So we did swap that out. I put a T56 in here. It was from an LT car, so I changed out the mid plate, the bell housing, and the input shaft. We're going to see how it works. But I've got that setting behind a center force twin disc clutch. I can't remember which one it was, but it's a nice clutch, and a Tick performance shifter. So I'm super excited to have that. I still got to rip more of this interior out. We're going to rewire the car, Dakota digital gauges. I got Sparco seats, Sparco steering wheel, Sparco belts. I did Corbeau in my last car. Figured I would do Sparco in this one, see what I thought. And then the big thing, yeah, there's the Sparco seats. The big thing is this car is on air. So I yanked out all the factory suspension. It was still running factory monoleaf springs, competition products, shocks. I'm trying to remember all this. It's been 6 months, a year ago since I started looking at this car. But yeah, now we got full Ride Tech suspension under it with their bags, and then I'm running an Airlift 3P management system. And then obviously I wanted to do twin compressors, made them, set up real nice and fancy. I'm really happy with the way that turned out. So yeah, we're gonna crawl under her. We're gonna crawl under it here in a while, and you can take a peek at it. But for now, that's kind of the overview. Willwood brakes, and then up front, I did purchase a Rhodes custom core support. Purchased a Rhodes custom core support. I did this because on the first car I had no room between the water pump and the fan, and because I went on Power Tour in the 64 and had very little room in it as well, and I overheated like 18 times with 47 different fans. This one, I wanted to make sure we had space, so I went with the Rhodes core support, which would give me more space. I did custom mounts, and then obviously I got an AC condenser here because I do have a vintage air kit, which is under a pile of boxes that is going to go in here as well. So clearly there's a lot to do with this car. The purpose of this video, however, is teardown. So I was getting really close to... Man, I feel like I've had this thing apart 12.5 times, but luckily it's not too bad to do. It's pretty straightforward, right? So most of it's just mocked up anyway. So we're going to take out these little units. I'm going to set these in a pile of boxes. Come back over here. Yeah, nice and easy to do. And that's gone for 18 years. Oh, there's another one. Bam. I did paint these, as you may or may not have noticed. Oh, watch out for the garage slides. Yeah. I was originally going to go for like a full blacked out front end. I'm sure you've seen a lot of these Novas that have been blacked out, but for whatever reason, I kind of decided to mix it up a little bit. I think I'm just going to black out the grill, leave the chrome polished bumper, and then I painted the filler panel to match my wheels, which you can't see because they're around, but it looks good. I don't know why I decided bronze. I'm more of a white fan, but black and bronze I thought looked cool, so here we are. I think I'm going to try and leave this all in one piece. So let's pull the bumper off. Do you usually put stuff back where you got it? I don't. I should, but I don't. I'll find it, or I won't. There's one side, and now the second side. Oh, she loose. And she falling. That's gone too. Come on. Alright. Let's set that there. My hands are full. Think we can get it out? I don't know. Hey, look at that. That is prime engineering there. Perfect. Unit is out. So what do we got left over here? Alright. Let me yank this Terpsky out here. I don't think I have any bolts in it. At least I hope not. It's just studs. Yeah, there it goes. Put this over here. We'll just set it in this box. Easy enough. I'm going to use my floor jack as a stool because, you know, why not? Now, are these loose? Yeah, they're loose. Nice. Probably wouldn't need to take these out, but I think it'll make my life a lot easier to do so. Wouldn't you agree? God, how long is this bolt? There it is. All right, JP Fab, super nice work. Check him out on Facebook. Let's knock out the other one. Oh, nice, convenient stool. All right. This side I don't have as much room, but nice enough. I don't know if you've ever worked on a Nova. It doesn't matter if I'm talking LS or small block, or I can't really speak for big block, but small block Chevy and LS. There's never a lot of room under here. Surprising too, because when you take it all apart, it looks like there's a ton of room, and then when you actually start putting stuff in, you lose a lot of that room. Nice enough though, these headers will actually come in and out from the top, which is great. Again, look at these units. JP Fab, Facebook, highly recommend. It did come with a crossover pipe as well. It's on the shelf of goodies. So I got ahead of things, kind of, a little bit. As I mentioned, it was a pain in the ass to get the motor mount bolts out. I had to do some prying and some pulling to get the bolts, but overall it went pretty smooth. Transmission is currently not completely hanging. I have a jack under there. I'm going to try and lift it up slightly, lower it slightly to make sure the shifter clears the tunnel. And then we're just going to start, yanking it back and hope that it goes smoothly. And it's already not going as smooth as I want. I want to use that second hole. I want to use the second hole because, like I said, I need it to clear without pulling the shifter. I guess, I could have pulled the shifter and, done that, but why? Well, I know why. But either way, we're going to see what happens here. Uh-oh, it ain't wanting to move. It's lifting the car. That's not a good sign. We're gonna drop it down. How much you want to bet it's because it's jacked in the motor mounts? Let's see if we can break them free at all. Alright, that one's free. Let's see what happens now. Hey, let's see what happens here. There it goes. She's loose. She is loose. And she's not touching my jack. So let's get that out of the way and see if I can start slowly pulling it out. I have pulled engines in and out of these Novas quite a few times, and it sure feels like every time is slightly different. That's better. Can we move forward yet? Nah, she's hitting the subframe. I have to admit, it'd probably be a little easier with a second hand, but, you know, I'm alone. Alright, that should get us a little farther. Alright, where are we at? Almost there. Gotta remember, gotta be a little careful to put it in because I don't want to scratch that new subframe all up. And she's free. I think we're just going to set her down right there. What do you think? Oh, she's covered in grinding dust and bolts that didn't go all the way in. What in the world? All right. Got some things to clean up and fix. Empty engine bay. So the nice thing about this new subframe, we're going to set this down. It just made noise. I didn't like it. I don't know about you, but you get nervous when you hear them make noise? I do. Like that. Bam. We're just going to let it hang out just like that. Anyway, back to this. So, the nice thing about this new subframe, first of all, it gives you a lot more room, right? And then it's going to change out the upper control arms, the lower control arms. It is rack and pinion only. So if you think you're going to get one of these subframes for a first gen Camaro or a third gen Nova, think again. You cannot use your factory steering box. So we're going to go from a rear steer to rack and pinion, which is going to be really nice. This car I did install excuse me, I did install the True Turn. Unfortunately, did not get to use it in this car, so I'm going to sell this all as one piece. So somebody's going to get a decent deal. I'm keeping my bags, of course, and I'm keeping my spindles with the Willwoods, but, you know, nice setup for somebody here, but by the time you see this, it'll probably already be sold. So yeah, now we're going to work on, I'm going to unhook the steering there, work on getting the spindles off, shocks out, air lines out of the subframe. And then it'll give me some space to clean the firewall up a little bit. That is a old stop sign that somebody cut out and put in to fill the hole from the factory heater box. Obviously, going vintage air, I'm going to clean that up. I'm not going to go too crazy with this one simply because I don't have time. I have a trip planned in July for this car and some buddies that have some old classic muscle cars that we're going to go down to the Tail of the Dragon and, you know, down Tennessee roads. So I'm not going to have time to do, you know, OCD level work, but I think she's going to be pretty solid and nice. So let's start somewhere, probably there. I would. Mistakes were made. Rookie mistake, but mistake nonetheless. I don't think I tore anything up too bad. It just kind of gradually set down. Key note, if you're doing this, think about the weight that is in the rear end and nothing in the front. I completely forgot to put some jack stands under the rear end. So I had my wife out here helping me. She was getting ready to lower this down. And the minute that the last bolt broke free from the subframe, it just slowly started to go up. And then you know, smack down. So, yeah, you know, rookie mistake, I guess. I've done it before, but I guess last time I remember to put jack stands under the rear end. So what we're going to have to do now is get those jack stands out, because right now I can't teeter-totter it like that. I'm hoping once I pull those out of the way, I got a buddy coming over, maybe we can pull it down. Probably not, because, you know, why would it be that easy? But who knows, maybe. Either way, I'm not afraid to show you when mistakes are made, and this was one of them. Like I said, though, I don't think anything was damaged. Nothing was hurt. I really wish I would have had the camera rolling, because it's kind of funny. Also, note, don't be under it when you're doing this kind of thing, because, you know, this could have fell or something like that. Luckily, I was on the outside. She was lowering. I had a good grip on it, so it didn't move. But the car did its thing. So that's where we're at. I'm gonna take a quick break here and figure out what we're gonna do. I don't know, maybe some kind of weird pulley system. Maybe me and the buddy just crawling up here on the fenders and pulling her down. I don't know. We're gonna figure it out though. But I know she was pouring gas out of the back, because clearly the gas tank is, you know, on the ground back there. But anyway, yeah, sight to be seen. Mistake was made, but you learn from them, and you remember what to do next time, I guess. So yeah, quick 15 here, and then we're gonna come back and see where we're at. All right, we're back on all four paws, and it wasn't bad. I had a buddy come over and help. We just kind of grabbed the front and pulled down, and I held it while he threw a couple jack stands under the rear end, and now she's good. Yeah, be careful if you're doing this. Remember to throw your jack stands into the back. There is a weight difference, but you know, mistakes happen. Luckily, no one was hurt. The car wasn't hurt. I was not under the car when it happened, so all good. I did go ahead and start playing around in here on the firewall, because I want to get this cleaned up before I throw the new subframe in and all that good stuff. So I yanked this plate that previous owner had put on. They definitely glued it on with some stuff. Clearly some of the old stop sign came off with it. It's still there, but I'm just going to use a flap disc or a wire wheel, clean all that up, weld some of the holes up, grind it down, blah, blah, blah. Got a nice plate from Vintage Air that's going to cover all that up and be ready to go. And then I think I'm going to go ahead and pull this inner fender out and run the hoses while I have all this room for activities. Run the hoses for the Vintage Air before I move forward, just to save me some time down the road. It actually runs through the fresh air inlet up under the fender, and then I'm going to run it obviously through the fender and out in the front, and you know, it'll look nice and clean. But yeah, I think that'll be easier to do while there's so much room here than it will until I get the subframe back in with the engine. But yeah, so we're going to clean all this up. I got to pull this old brake booster and master cylinder off. I got to rerun brake lines. You know, just a bunch of odds and ends. And I think it'd be best to do before we get the new subframe in. Now is the time, as they say. So, quick question. If you see this video before I actually do it, Buddy thinks I should take these inner fenders out and paint them in that dark bronze to match the wheels. Let me show you that. This is the color of the wheels. Really like the color, and that's kind of going to be my accent color. So yeah, what do you think? Would that be stupid? Too much? I'm up in the air. I kind of think it'd be too much. I think just going back with a nice satin black to match the firewall would be sufficient, but I'm curious. Let me know what you think. If we should take the inner fenders out and give them a clean and a quick coat of bronze paint, see how that would look. Either way, I think that's going to be it. I think that's where we're going to leave it. Next video, probably in a few days, we're going to be knocking out all the firewall and however far I get there, and then potentially getting the subframe in. So, but yeah, if you stuck around this long, I appreciate you watching. Make sure you like, comment, subscribe. Until next time.